The alien princess boasted, "You won't last a minute, human." She had no idea who she'd challenged. It floated in open space, held together by ancient technology no one alive fully understood. Layer upon layer of metal rings surrounded the center platform, each ring packed with spectators from across the galaxy. Creatures of every shape and size filled the stands, scaled beings with burning eyes, tall crystal-bodied observers, insect-like thinkers wrapped in robes, and massive armored warriors who had never known defeat. Today they had all come for the same reason: a human. Commander Elias Ward stood alone at the edge of the arena floor. He looked small here. His armor was simple, worn, and clearly outdated compared to the shining weapons and glowing suits around him. There were no energy blades at his side, no enhanced limbs, no visible implants. Just a man. Above him, the Galactic Coalition Council watched from a floating platform. They had argued for days about what to do with humanity. Humans were new, unpredictable, dangerous in ways that were difficult to measure. They did not fit into any known category. And so, as tradition demanded when fear outweighed trust, the Coalition had chosen the old way: trial by supremacy. One representative, one challenger, one fight. Princess Zyra Valkith stepped into the arena from the opposite gate. The crowd roared instantly. She was tall, powerful, and graceful in a way only her species could be. Her armored plates were grown, not built, and faint lines of glowing red energy ran across her body like veins of fire. She was royalty. She was a warrior. She had never lost. Zyra lifted her weapon, a long, curved energy spear, and slammed it against the arena floor. The sound echoed like thunder. She laughed. "So this is the human," she said, her voice carried and translated perfectly for all to hear. "This is what your species sends to speak for it." The laughter spread through the stands. It was not cruel, it was confident. Humans had a reputation for being fragile, short-lived, emotional. They survived by numbers, not strength. Elias did not react. He stood still, his hands relaxed at his sides, eyes focused on the ground between them. His face showed no anger, no fear, only calm. Zyra tilted her head, studying him. "You don't even bow," she said. "No respect, no survival instinct." Elias finally looked up. His eyes were steady. "I'm here," he said simply. That was all. The princess laughed again, louder this time. "You won't last a minute, human." The arena lights shifted. A countdown appeared in the air between them. 60. The overseer's voice echoed across the arena, cold and mechanical. "Trial begins. Combatants may use any method permitted by ancient law. Death is acceptable. Surrender is permitted." Elias exhaled slowly. 55. Zyra moved first. She crossed the distance between them in a blur, her spear cutting through the air with terrifying speed. The crowd leaned forward, expecting blood. Elias rolled aside just in time. The spear struck the floor where he had been standing, sending sparks and broken stone flying. The princess turned instantly and struck again. Elias blocked with his forearm guard. The impact threw him backward. He slid across the arena floor, pain shooting through his arm. He felt something crack, but he stayed upright. The crowd cheered. Zyra smiled. "Good, you can move." She attacked again and again. Each strike was fast, powerful, and precise. Elias dodged when he could, blocked when he had no choice, and absorbed the rest. His armor took damage. His breathing grew heavier. 30 blood ran down his forehead. His left arm trembled. His vision blurred for a moment. Zyra stepped back and lowered her weapon slightly. "You should surrender," she said. "There is no shame in knowing your limits." Elias wiped the blood from his eyes with the back of his hand. "No," he said, just one word. The crowd grew quieter. Zyra's smile faded. She raised her spear again, annoyed now. "Then fall," she lunged. Elias dropped to one knee at the last second. The spear passed over his head. He grabbed a loose piece of broken arena stone and slammed it into Zyra's leg joint. The impact did no real damage, but it surprised her. She stumbled, just for a moment. Elias rolled away before she could strike him down. He forced himself back to his feet, breathing hard, his body screaming in protest. Zyra stared at him now, no longer amused. "You are still standing," she said quietly. Elias did not answer. 5. The countdown reached 0. The arena lights flared. The overseer spoke again. "First minute complete." Silence, then murmurs. The human was still alive. Zyra straightened slowly. Her tail flicked behind her, a sign of irritation she could not fully hide. She had ended dozens of fights in under 30 seconds, some in less than 10. This one refused to end. She circled Elias carefully now, watching him instead of rushing. "Interesting," she said. You bleed, you break, yet you continue. Elias adjusted his stance. He shifted his weight slightly, testing his injured arm. It hurt, a lot, but pain was familiar. Pain meant he was still conscious. You talk too much, he said. The crowd reacted to that, some laughed. Others leaned closer. Zyra's eyes narrowed. You will regret provoking me, human? Maybe, Elias replied, but not yet. For the first time since entering the arena, Zyra felt something unexpected. Curiosity. She attacked again, but this time Elias did not retreat blindly. He watched her movements, counted her steps, learned her rhythm. He used the arena floor, broken stone, and uneven ground to slow her. He was still losing, but he was learning. High above, members of the coalition exchanged uneasy looks. This was not predicted, one of them said. Another replied quietly, it has only been 1 minute. Yes, the first said, and the human is still adapting. Down below, Elias took another heavy hit and fell to one knee. Zyra stood over him, spear raised, ready to finish it. She hesitated. Why? She asked. Why do you keep standing? Elias looked up at her, bloodied and exhausted. Because if I fall, he said, my people fall with me. The arena went completely silent. Zyra lowered her spear slightly, not out of mercy, but out of thought. The human pushed himself back to his feet. The trial was far from over, and for the first time the galaxy began to wonder if they had made a mistake. Princess Zyra attacked again, faster than before. Her spear struck like lightning, cutting the air again and again. Each blow carried power meant to crush bone and tear armor apart. She was no longer testing. She was proving dominance. Elias' ward barely kept up. He stepped back, then sideways, using broken stone and uneven ground to slow her charges. His injured arm burned with pain every time he raised it. His breath came in short, sharp pulls, sweat mixed with blood on his face, making his vision blur. Still, he stayed standing. Zyra noticed everything. She noticed how he moved differently now. How he no longer reacted late, but just in time. How his eyes followed her feet instead of her weapon. How he leaned away before she struck, not after. You are learning, she said as she struck again. Elias blocked. The impact sent pain through his body, but he used it. He twisted with the force, rolled, and came back up farther away. Had to, he replied. You hit hard. That earned a strange sound from Zyra, not laughter, something sharper. She attacked again. This time Elias ducked low and rushed forward instead of back. The crowd gasped as he slipped under her spear and slammed his shoulder into her side. It was not a strong hit, but it was unexpected. Zyra stumbled one step, only one, but the arena reacted. Murmurs spread like fire. A human strike. Zyra spun and struck backward without looking. Elias barely rolled away. The spear slammed into the floor, cracking it deeper than before. Her eyes burned now. You should be broken, she said. Your body shows damage. Your strength is failing. Elias pushed himself up slowly. His legs shook. He felt it. Every breath hurt. Yeah, he said. That happens. Zyra tilted her head. Then why are you still fighting? Elias did not answer right away. He picked up a small piece of broken metal from the arena floor and weighed it in his hand. When humans fight, he said, we don't plan to win fast. Zyra scoffed. That is foolish. Maybe, Elias said, but we plan to last. He threw the metal shard. It did not hurt her. It barely scratched her armor, but it made her raise her spear, and that was enough. Elias moved. He rushed to the side, grabbed a fallen support rod from the arena floor, and used it like a staff. He struck at Zyra's legs, not to break them, but to force her to move. She blocked easily, but she was stepping where he wanted now. Zyra realized it a moment too late. Her foot landed on unstable stone. The floor shifted. She lost balance for half a second. Elias hit her chest with the staff and jumped back. The crowd went silent. Zyra stared at him. Her chest armor was cracked, not broken, cracked. No one had ever done that in the trial arena without advanced weapons. The coalition observers leaned forward in their seats. This is not possible, one of them said. Another replied quietly, it is happening. Zyra straightened slowly. Her breathing was heavier now. Not from exhaustion, but from something unfamiliar, anger mixed with respect. You adapt, she said. Your species is weak, yet you change with every strike. Elias shrugged slightly, then winced from the pain. That's how we survived. She attacked again, but this time Elias did not retreat far. He stayed close, forcing her to fight in tight space. Her long spear became harder to use. She switched to short, powerful strikes. The fight turned brutal. Elias took hit after hit. Each one should have ended it. His armor cracked further. His body screamed for rest. His mind narrowed to focus and instinct. He fell once, The crowd roared. Zyra stepped toward him, spear raised. Elias rolled and kicked her ankle. She stumbled. Again, the roar turned into shocked noise. Elias dragged himself back to his feet, breathing hard. Zyra stared at him with wide eyes. "You should not be able to do this," she said. Elias wiped blood from his mouth. "We hear that a lot." She attacked with a scream of fury now, no longer controlled, no longer perfect. Elias moved on instinct, using everything around him, walls, debris, timing, even his own falling body. He was not stronger, he was not faster, but he refused to stop. Above them, the Coalition Overseer activated ancient sensors. Data poured in: heart rate, endurance levels, injury tolerance. "What is this?" one council member whispered. "His body should have failed." Another replied, "It would have if he were not human." Zyra struck Elias hard in the chest. He flew backward and slammed into the arena wall. He stayed down. The crowd stood. Zyra approached slowly, breathing heavy, spear pointed at his heart. "Stay down," she said. "You have proven enough." Elias did not move. Then his hand twitched. He coughed. Slowly, painfully, he pushed himself up using the wall. Gasps echoed across the arena. "You are broken," Zyra said softly. "Why stand?" Elias looked at her through blurred vision. "Because broken isn't finished." Something changed in Zyra's eyes. She lowered her spear, not fully, but enough to pause. The Overseer spoke. "Second minute complete." 2 minutes. No human had ever survived 2 minutes in the trial arena. The stands were no longer laughing. They were watching. Zyra stepped back, reassessing. She had underestimated him, not his strength, but his will. "You fight like a storm," she said. "Messy, unpredictable." Elias gave a weak smile. "Storms don't ask permission." She raised her spear again, but her stance was different now, careful, focused. The duel had changed. This was no longer a spectacle. It was a contest. And somewhere deep within the ancient arena, systems that had slept for centuries began to wake, sensing something rare. A challenger that refused to fall. As the third minute began, one truth became clear to everyone watching. The human was not here to win quickly. He was here to outlast the impossible. Princess Zyra stood tall at the center of the arena, her spear held close now instead of wide. Her armor was scratched. One plate along her chest was cracked, something that had never happened before in a trial. Her eyes stayed locked on the human. Commander Elias Ward leaned slightly forward, one hand resting on his knee. His armor was badly damaged. Blood soaked parts of it. His breathing was uneven but steady. His eyes, though tired, were sharp. They studied each other. The crowd watched without blinking. Zyra moved first, but slowly. She circled him, steps careful and measured. Elias mirrored her movement, keeping distance, adjusting his stance each time she shifted. "You have changed," Zyra said. "You no longer fight to survive the moment." Elias nodded slightly. "Now I fight to control it." She struck. This time Elias did not dodge far. He stepped inside the reach of her spear, letting it slide past his shoulder. Pain flared as the edge grazed him, but he accepted it. He slammed his elbow into her arm joint. It did nothing serious, but it forced her back. Zyra's eyes widened. She attacked again, faster. Elias retreated 2 steps, then stopped suddenly. Zyra overextended. Elias kicked the back of her knee. She didn't fall, but she felt it. The arena buzzed with tension. "She is slowing," a coalition observer whispered. "No," another replied. "She is thinking." Zyra leapt backward and landed near the arena wall. "You fight incorrectly," she said. "No honor, no clean form." Elias shrugged. "We don't fight for honor." He picked up a broken piece of arena stone and rolled it across the ground. Zyra frowned. "Then why fight?" "To make sure tomorrow exists." That answer stayed with her longer than she wanted. She charged again, spinning her spear in a wide arc. Elias ducked and slid across the floor, letting the blade pass over him. He came up behind her and slammed the broken staff against her back plate. Crack! Another line spread across her armor. The crowd erupted, not with laughter, but shock. Zyra spun and hit Elias square in the chest. He flew backward, slammed into the ground, and rolled to a stop. He stayed down for 1 second, 2. The crowd held its breath. Elias groaned and forced himself to his knees. Zyra stared. "You absorb damage like a dead thing," she said quietly. "Why do you not stop?" Elias coughed, then wiped blood from his mouth. "Because stopping is worse." She hesitated. That hesitation cost her. Elias threw the staff not at her but past her. Zyra instinctively turned. Elias rushed the other direction. He grabbed a fallen metal beam near the arena edge and wedged it under a cracked floor plate. With a sharp pull, he loosened it further. Zyra realized what he was doing and rushed him, too late. Elias jumped back as the floor gave way. Zyra's foot slipped into the gap. She twisted and tore free instantly, but her movement slowed, just enough. Elias slammed the beam down on her spear shaft. The weapon cracked. The crowd exploded in noise. "No!" someone shouted. Zyra stared at the broken shaft in disbelief. Her spear, crafted for royalty, tested in countless battles, was damaged. She dropped it and backed away slowly. "You break tools," she said. "You break rules." Elias breathed heavily. "Rules break people." The coalition platform filled with frantic movement. "This is unacceptable," one council member said. "He is turning the arena itself into a weapon." Another replied, "That is not forbidden. It was never considered." Zyra straightened and unclipped two short energy blades from her sides. "Enough," she said. "No more games." She attacked like a storm. Elias barely kept up. The blades flashed again and again. He blocked with his forearm guard, dodged with inches to spare, rolled, stumbled, rose. Pain flooded his body. His vision narrowed. Still he fought. He let himself fall once more, drawing Zyra in. When she struck downward, he twisted and trapped her arm briefly against his body. For one heartbeat, they were close enough for her to see his face clearly. There was no hate there, only determination. He head-butted her, not hard, but sudden. Zyra recoiled, stunned more by surprise than pain. Elias pushed away and scrambled to his feet. The crowd was silent again. "This is madness," a spectator whispered. "He should be dead." Zyra steadied herself and laughed once, short and sharp. "You are chaos," she said. "Your species must be insane." Elias gave a tired smile. "That's not wrong." She attacked again, but now Elias was leading her. He moved where he wanted her to move. Every strike she made forced her to adjust. Every adjustment cost energy. Her breathing grew heavier. Zyra noticed it too. "You are wearing me down," she said. "That's the plan." She struck him hard in the side. He cried out and dropped to one knee. Zyra raised her blade. Elias grabbed a handful of loose dust and threw it upward. It blinded her for a split second. Elias rolled, kicked her ankle again, and pushed himself away. The arena erupted. "No weapons," someone shouted. "He used dirt." Zyra wiped her eyes and stared at him, stunned. "You fight like survival itself," she said slowly. Elias did not answer. He was too busy staying upright. The overseer's voice echoed again. "Third minute complete." 3 minutes. A record no human had ever reached. The crowd was no longer neutral. Some stood, some shouted warnings, some watched in awe. Zyra stood still, blades lowered slightly. She studied Elias not as prey, not as an insult, but as an equal threat. "I see now," she said. "You do not fight to defeat your enemy." Elias breathed in, steadying himself. "We fight so our enemy has to change." Zyra nodded slowly. The duel had transformed. No longer arrogance versus weakness. Now it was discipline versus adaptation. As the 4th minute began, ancient systems deep within the arena adjusted power levels, sensing prolonged combat. The trial was escalating. And for the first time in centuries, the arena itself was uncertain who would remain standing. Lights along the outer rings shifted from white to deep red. Ancient systems, long unused, activated in response to prolonged combat. The floor vibrated slightly, adjusting balance and gravity in small, unpredictable ways. The trial had entered a higher level. Princess Zyra felt it at once. Her boots pressed harder against the ground. The air felt heavier. The arena was no longer neutral. It was testing both fighters. Elias' ward nearly fell when the gravity shifted. He caught himself on one knee, breathing hard. Every muscle in his body screamed. His ribs hurt. His arm felt numb. His legs burned with exhaustion. Still he stood. Zyra watched him closely now. There was no mockery in her eyes, no laughter, only focus. "You should not be alive," she said quietly. "No being from your world has ever lasted this long." Elias wiped sweat from his face. First time for everything. She raised her blades, but hesitated. For the first time in her life, Princess Zyra questioned her own certainty. She had been trained since birth to dominate. Her people believed strength was proof of worth. Weakness was failure. Adaptation without power was seen as desperation. And yet the human before her was desperation made effective. Zyra attacked again, but her movements were sharper now, cleaner, more careful. She no longer wasted energy on wide strikes. Each motion was meant to end the fight. Elias barely avoided the first blade. The second cut through his armor and grazed his side. Pain flared hot and sharp. He gritted his teeth and kept moving. The crowd watched in near silence. Even the most aggressive species no longer shouted. They had seen pride before. They had seen strength. They had never seen endurance like this. Elias retreated toward the arena wall, using it to limit Zyra's angles. She followed, pressing him, forcing him to react. "You rely on suffering," she said as she struck. "That is not strength." Elias blocked weakly and slid sideways. "It is when suffering is familiar." She struck again. Elias tripped and fell hard. A wave of sound rolled through the arena. Zyra stepped forward, blades raised. "Stay down," she said. "You have already changed the trial. There is no shame in stopping." Elias lay still for a moment, his vision blurred. His ears rang. He felt cold creeping into his fingers. He thought of Earth, not cities, not flags, people, ordinary people who trusted him to stand here. Slowly, he pushed himself up. The crowd gasped. Zyra stared in disbelief. "You are past your limits," she said. "Your body is failing." Elias forced his legs straight. "Then I'll borrow from tomorrow." Something in Zyra's chest tightened. She attacked again, but her timing was off. Elias moved at the last possible second, letting the blade pass close enough to feel its heat. He grabbed Zyra's wrist with both hands and twisted. Pain shot through his arms. Zyra broke free instantly and struck him across the shoulder, sending him crashing to the ground again. But this time something had changed. Zyra's breathing was heavy. Her movements, though still powerful, were slower. She felt it. Fatigue. She had never fought long enough to feel it. Her species ended fights quickly or died. This was unfamiliar ground. "You force me into weakness," she said, anger and confusion mixing in her voice. Elias struggled back to his feet, swaying slightly. "Welcome to our world." High above, the Coalition Council argued in urgent tones. "This must end," one member said. "She is royal blood." "The trial law is clear," another replied. "Interference is forbidden. And if the human wins," a long silence followed. "No one knows," someone finally said. Zyra activated a control on her armor. Lines of glowing red energy flared brighter across her body. Gasps echoed across the arena. "She's using it," a spectator whispered. "The blood state." Forbidden in normal trials, allowed only under ancient law, Zyra's strength increased instantly. Her wounds sealed partially. Her eyes burned brighter. Elias felt the pressure change again. She moved too fast. Her strike sent him flying. He hit the ground hard and slid across the arena floor. His armor finally failed completely. Warnings flashed across his visor, then died. He lay still. The crowd rose to their feet. Zyra approached slowly, blades humming with power. "This ends now," she said. "Forgive me." She raised her blade. Elias' fingers twitched. He rolled aside just as the blade struck, leaving a deep mark in the floor where his head had been. The crowd erupted. Elias dragged himself upright, barely conscious. Zyra attacked again and again. Elias could no longer block properly. He dodged on instinct alone. Every movement felt slow. He fell once more. Zyra stood over him, breathing hard, energy flickering around her. "Why do you refuse to end?" she asked, almost pleading now. Elias looked up at her. His voice was weak but clear. "Because someone has to show you that strength isn't everything." She hesitated. That hesitation weakened the blood state, just a little, enough. Elias grabbed her ankle and pulled. Zyra fell hard. The arena shook. Elias rolled on top of her and pressed his forearm against her chest, not to strike, but to pin. The crowd froze. No one breathed. Zyra stared up at him, stunned. He had no strength left. She could feel it. Yet he held her there, not with power, with will. Slowly, Elias released her and rolled away. He sat up, gasping. "I won't kill you," he said. "That's not why I'm here." Zyra remained on the ground, staring at the ceiling of the arena. No opponent had ever spared her. No enemy had ever chosen restraint. The blood state faded, the glow dimmed, the overseer's voice echoed louder than before. "Fourth minute complete." The arena exploded into sound, not cheers, not screams, confusion. A human had faced a royal warrior in her strongest form and lived. Zyra slowly sat up. She looked at Elias differently now, not as prey, not as a mistake, but as a warning. The trial was no longer about pride. It was about what humanity represented. As the 5th minute approached, one truth spread through the arena like a silent wave. If this human could endure this, what could his species endure together? Not the tense silence of waiting crowds, but something deeper. Even the ancient arena system seemed to pause, as if unsure how to proceed. Elias Ward sat on the cracked floor, his back against a broken wall section. His chest rose and fell slowly. Every breath hurt. His body felt heavy, distant, like it belonged to someone else. Across from him, Princess Zyra stood still. She had risen carefully, testing her balance, her strength. The blood state had faded fully now. The glowing lines on her armor dimmed to a soft red. Her breathing was uneven. She had never been pushed this far, not in training. Not in war, not ever. The crowd watched in silence. Zyra broke it first. "You spared me," she said. Elias looked up, eyes tired but clear. "I told you I'm not here to kill you." "That was a mistake," she replied automatically, then stopped. She did not believe it. Her people believed mercy was weakness. Mercy meant hesitation. Hesitation meant death. And yet, she was alive because of it. "You could have ended the trial," she said slowly. "You could have claimed victory." Elias shook his head. "Victory like that would have proven you right." Zyra frowned. "Right about what?" "That were just another threat." Above them, the Coalition Council chambers filled with rising alarms. Ancient scanners had finished analyzing Elias' performance. Endurance levels, pain tolerance, cognitive function under stress. The data did not make sense. "These numbers are wrong," one council member said. "They are accurate," the overseer replied. "Human neural systems compensate for damage by redistributing function. They do not shut down easily." Another council member whispered, "They evolved to suffer." The overseer corrected him. "They evolved to continue." Zyra stepped forward again, but slowly now, carefully. "You fight like your species expects pain," she said. Elias nodded. "We do." She tilted her head. "Why would a species accept such existence?" Elias thought for a moment. Then he answered honestly. "Because the alternative was extinction." The word echoed, extinction. Zyra felt something shift inside her. Her people had conquered harsh worlds, but they had always been strong. They dominated early, they crushed rivals. Survival came from superiority. Humans had not been superior, they had endured. "You are not strong," Zyra said, "not compared to us." Elias almost smiled. "We know," she continued, voice quieter now. "You are not fast, not long-lived. Not gifted. Nope. Then why are you still here?" Elias looked around the arena, at the thousands of watching species, at the warriors who had fallen here in minutes. "Because when the universe pushed us down," he said, "we stayed down long enough to learn how to stand back up." The words spread through the arena, translated instantly. The reaction was not loud, it was heavy. Zyra raised her blades again, but not to strike. "Fight," she said. "Not as enemy, as truth." Elias forced himself to his feet. His legs shook violently, but he stood. The 5th minute resumed. Zyra attacked, but not with fury. She tested him now, short strikes, measured steps, controlled power. Elias responded the same way. He did not rush. He did not chase. He conserved energy, moved only when necessary. It was no longer chaos. It was adaptation meeting discipline. The crowd watched something new, not a spectacle, a conversation through combat. "You learn quickly," Zyra said as Elias slipped past a blade and tapped her shoulder with his forearm. "You hit hard enough to make learning urgent," he replied. She almost laughed. Almost. High above, the overseer activated a sealed archive. A symbol appeared before the council, an ancient warning mark. "This classification," one member said slowly, "it was sealed." "Yes," the overseer replied, "from a prior cycle." The archive opened. Long ago, another species had risen like humanity, not powerful, not fast. But endless, they adapted to every attempt to destroy them. They spread. They endured wars, disasters, internal collapse. They had not been evil, but they had reshaped the galaxy simply by surviving everything. "They were labeled persistence class," the overseer said. "Extinction level by inevitability." The council fell silent. Below, Zyra struck Elias hard across the chest. He staggered but did not fall. She struck again. He stayed upright. "You don't retreat," she said. Elias shook his head. "Not anymore." She attacked harder, faster. Elias absorbed it, redirected it, used her momentum. She was still stronger, but she was tiring. Her strikes slowed. Her breathing deepened. She felt it clearly now. Exhaustion. Fear followed, not fear of death, fear of being outlasted. "You would keep going," she said. "Even if I break every bone." Elias nodded once. "Until I can't. And then someone else would stand up." That answer struck deeper than any blow. Zyra stepped back. "You are not alone," she said softly. "No," Elias agreed. "That's the point." The arena lights shifted again. Warning tones echoed. The overseer spoke, voice carrying authority older than empires. "Galactic Council," it announced. "The trial has reached a threshold." "What threshold?" someone demanded. "The demonstration threshold," the crowd murmured. Zyra looked up briefly, then back to Elias. They are watching more than us now, she said. Good, Elias replied. They should. She lowered her blades slightly. If humanity is allowed to stand, she said, the balance will change. Elias shrugged weakly. It always does. Zyra raised one blade again, then paused. She deactivated it. The blade vanished. Gasps erupted across the arena. What are you doing? A voice shouted. Zyra stepped back and placed her weapon on the ground. I acknowledge, she said loudly, that this human has met the trial not with strength, but with endurance beyond expectation. The overseer hesitated. The rules had never anticipated this. Elias swayed, nearly falling. He caught himself. You don't have to do this, he said. Zyra met his eyes. Yes, I do. She bowed her head not deeply but clearly. To you, she said, and to what you represent. The arena exploded into sound, not outrage. Awe, the overseer's voice rang out once more. 5th minute complete. 5 minutes, impossible. Zyra looked at Elias one last time before stepping away. This fight is no longer about winning, she said. It is about warning. Elias nodded. Then let's make sure they understand. High above, the council stared at the data, the archive, the living proof below. Humanity was not dangerous because it attacked. Humanity was dangerous because it endured. As the 6th minute approached, the galaxy began to understand the truth it had tried to ignore. You could defeat humans in battle. You could break them, but ending them. That was something else entirely. Ancient systems that had not been tested in centuries now struggled to judge the situation. The trial was designed to measure dominance, not endurance. It expected a winner or a corpse. It did not know what to do with restraint. Elias Ward stood unsteady at the center of the arena. His vision faded in and out. His body felt hollow, like it was held together by memory instead of strength. He remained upright only because he refused to fall. Across from him, Princess Zyra stood with empty hands. She had not picked up her weapon again. The crowd murmured in confusion. Why is she not attacking? Still here, she nodded slowly. Yes. High above, the Galactic Council argued openly now. This is unacceptable, one member shouted. The trial must conclude. Conclude how? Another replied. By killing him, by forcing her to strike. The overseer raised one metallic hand. Silence, the law is older than all of you. The law never faced this, a council member said. No, the overseer replied, but it predicted it. A hidden chamber within the arena activated. A deep hum rolled through the structure. Lights shifted again, turning a cold blue. The air vibrated with power. The overseer spoke, its voice echoing across the arena. Trial escalation authorized. Final condition activated. The crowd gasped. Zyra's eyes widened. They've never used that, she said. Elias frowned weakly. Used what? She looked at him. The judgment phase. Before Elias could respond, the arena floor changed. Panels shifted. Walls rose. The open space narrowed into a controlled ring. The gravity adjusted again, pressing harder on both fighters. The trial demanded an ending. Combatants, the overseer announced, the judgment phase requires a final demonstration. One shall stand with intent, one shall fall by choice or force. Elias closed his eyes briefly. Zyra looked away, her jaw tight. This forces outcome, she said. Either I finish you or I kneel. The crowd exploded in sound. Kneel. If I kneel, I disgrace my empire. Elias took a shaky step forward. Or you change it. She looked at him sharply. My people do not change, she said. We dominate or we are erased. Elias met her gaze. So did we once. That caught her attention. Once, she asked. Elias nodded slowly. We tried domination, it nearly destroyed us. We learned the hard way. Zyra hesitated. The arena systems pulsed again, urging resolution. Time is limited, the overseer warned. Zyra exhaled deeply and reached down, picking up one of her energy blades. It activated with a low hum. The crowd roared. Elias did not move. You cannot block this, Zyra said softly. Your body is done. I know, Elias replied. Then why stand? He straightened as much as he could. Because if I fall now after everything, then nothing we showed matters. Zyra raised the blade. Her hand trembled. For the first time in her life, she was afraid not of losing, but of winning the wrong way. You forced me to see, she said, and now you ask me to choose. I'm not asking, Elias said. I'm trusting. The blade hovered inches from his chest. The arena was silent. Zyra's mind raced. She saw her people, their rigid laws, their endless wars, victories that left nothing behind but fear. Then she saw Elias, broken, bleeding. Still standing, she deactivated the blade. It vanished. The crowd froze. Zyra stepped back. I will not strike, she said clearly. Shock rippled through the arena. The overseer paused. Clarify, it demanded. Zyra lowered herself to one knee. I choose acknowledgement, she said. Not domination. The sound that followed was chaos, outrage, shouting, anger, disbelief. Traitor. The overseer processed the moment longer than any calculation before. Judgment phase outcome undefined, it announced. The council erupted. What does that mean? Someone shouted. The overseer answered calmly. It means the trial has been answered in a way the law did not forbid. Elias swayed. Zyra noticed and reached out, steadying him. Gasps filled the arena again. She was supporting the human. Stay upright, she said. This part matters. Elias gave a weak laugh. You're not wrong. The overseer spoke again, louder. By ancient authority, the trial concludes without death. The challenger stands, the champion yields by choice. Silence followed. Then a new sound, not applause, respect, slow at first, uneven, then spreading. Species that had never clapped before mimicked the gesture. Others bowed heads. Some stood still, unable to process what they had seen. The council fell quiet. This changes everything, one member whispered. Another replied, no, it reveals what was already there. Zyra rose slowly and faced the council. You feared humanity, she said, not because they are strong, but because they cannot be removed. Elias stood beside her, barely conscious but upright. They will not conquer you, Zyra continued. They will endure you, outlive you. Adapt past you, the overseer added. Persistence class confirmed. The label echoed across the arena. Extinction level, not by force, by survival. The 6th minute ended without a bell, without blood, without defeat. Elias finally allowed himself to sink to one knee, exhausted beyond words. Zyra remained standing beside him. You changed the trial, she said. Elias looked up. You helped, she nodded once. And I will answer for it, he smiled faintly. Worth it. As medical teams rushed forward and the arena systems powered down, one truth settled across the galaxy. Humanity did not need to win battles to change fate. They only needed to remain. The final minute approached. And with it, the galaxy's decision. Commander Elias Ward sat on the arena floor as medical teams worked around him. They spoke softly, carefully, as if loud voices might disturb something fragile. His armor was removed piece by piece. Beneath it, his body was marked with bruises and injuries, but he was alive. That alone was history. Princess Zyra stood a short distance away, hands behind her back. Her posture was straight, but her expression was different now. No pride, no arrogance, only thought. Across the arena, the Galactic Council gathered. They did not sit in comfort. They stood, watching the human and the princess together. The overseer spoke, its voice steady. The trial is complete. The result is recorded. One council member stepped forward. Recorded how? The overseer paused. As a deviation, murmurs spread. Explain, another demanded. The trial was designed to measure dominance, the overseer said. Instead, it measured persistence. The outcome cannot be ranked by strength alone. The council did not like that answer. Elias slowly pushed himself to his feet. A medic tried to stop him, but he waved them away gently. I can stand, he said. Zyra turned to him. You don't have to. I know, Elias replied. But I want to, he faced the council. I didn't come here to threaten you, he said. His voice was weak, but it carried. I came because you asked humanity to prove itself. One council member crossed their arms. And what exactly have you proven? Elias thought for a moment. That we don't disappear easily. Silence followed. Zyra stepped forward. You misjudged them, she said to the council, as I did. A ripple of anger passed through her people's representatives. You dishonor us, one shouted. Zyra did not turn. No, I saved us from ignorance. She faced the council fully now. You believed humans were dangerous because they were unpredictable, she said. That is wrong. They are dangerous because they adapt without hatred. Elias listened quietly. Zyra continued. They did not come here to dominate. They did not seek conquest. And yet if you try to erase them, they will endure until you fail. The overseer projected data into the air. Human history, collapsed cities rebuilt, wars survived, disasters endured, species-wide setbacks followed by recovery. A council member whispered, they never stopped. No, the overseer replied, they adjusted. Another council member spoke, voice tense. What do you propose? The overseer answered first. Reclassification. The word carried weight. Humanity shall be recognized as persistence class, it said, protected by ancient accord. Shock swept through the chamber. That status is reserved for species that cannot be removed without unacceptable cost, the overseer finished. Elias felt his knees weaken, not from pain, but relief. Zyra looked at him. You hear that? He nodded. Yeah. The council fell into heated debate. Voices overlapped. Fear and calculation filled the air. At last, the highest counselor raised a hand. Enough, they said. The trial has spoken. They turned to Elias. Commander Ward, humanity will be granted equal standing within the coalition. Gasps echoed. Equal? Someone protested. Yes, the counselor replied, not because of power, because of proof. They looked at Zyra next. Princess Zyra Valkith, the counselor said, you defied expectation. Zyra inclined her head. I did. You will answer to your people. I will, she said calmly. The counselor nodded once. So be it. Medical teams finished their work. Elias was helped into a standing support frame. He looked around the arena one last time. He saw beings who once laughed, now watching with caution. He saw warriors who once dismissed him, now studying him with respect. He saw fear, but not hatred. That mattered. As Elias was escorted toward the exit gate, Zyra walked beside him. You changed the way they see you, she said. Elias shook his head. No, we showed them who we already were. She stopped walking. Where will you go now? She asked. Home, Elias said. Then back out here probably, talking instead of fighting. Zyra almost smiled. If your people had fought us the way you fight, she said, the galaxy would already be burning. That's why we didn't, Elias replied. She nodded slowly. At the gate, they stopped. This is not the end, Zyra said. No, Elias agreed. It's the beginning. They parted ways. As Elias was taken away, the arena slowly powered down. The ancient structure recorded the trial and sealed it into history, not as a victory, as a lesson. Across the galaxy, the story spread. Not of a human who defeated an alien princess, but of a human who refused to fall. On distant worlds, strategists revised their doctrines. Scholars debated human psychology. Military leaders quietly marked humanity as something to avoid provoking. And on Earth, when Elias finally returned, he did not receive a parade. He received something better. Time to heal, time to tell the story. Time for humanity to take its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as survivors. Princess Zyra stood before her people days later, facing judgment. She spoke without fear. I lost nothing, she said. I gained understanding. Some opposed her, some listened. Change, like endurance, took time. Far above, the overseer archived the trial and added a final note. Never underestimate a species that can lose everything and still stand. The galaxy remembered that line. Because one day, long after empires rose and fell, it would matter again. And when it did, humanity would still be there. Not because they were the strongest, but because they lasted.